the brain, you will see that. It's very obvious. That's your thalamus. Then if you see a word intermediate mass, that's the center part of the thalamus. In the models you can see, can you see the model here? You see this little dot? That's your intermediate mass. That's where both the thalami from the left and the right, they connect. And also your corpus callosum connects the right and left hemispheres. So this is your thalamus. Right below the thalamus, don't go too far. Right below the thalamus, that's your hypothalamus. Again, don't go too far, then you'll be touching something else. Right below this line, you can see this area, that's your hypothalamus. So the infundibulum is used to hang the pituitary gland from here. So your pituitary gland, it's not here in this specimen. If it were there, it will be here. Okay. So what you see here is your optic nerve actually. And if you see behind the thalamus, right here you see a little round structure. It easily breaks off too. This is another gland in the middle of your brain. This is your pineal gland, pineal or pineal gland. Can you see that? So the best landmark is there are only two glands. One is inferior to the brain, which is your pituitary gland on the outside. The other gland is inside, deep inside. That's your pineal gland. Okay, and then you can see here the colliculi in this view, the superior inferior colliculi earlier we saw, right? And this is your spinal cord. The first bump, that's your medulla oblongata. The second bump, that's your pons. And then this is your cerebral peduncle, just below the thalamus in this view. So spinal cord, medulla oblongata, the pons, cerebral peduncle. And you can tell the spinal cord very clearly because you can see this thin line here. Can you guys see the line? That's supposed to be a little canal for the CSF to flow through, central canal. This tells you the spinal cord starts here. Okay. So the rest is all your medulla oblongata and the pons and then the cerebral peduncle. Okay. Now let's look at the cerebellum. Cerebellum, if you see on the outside, let's first look at the entire cerebellum. So your complete cerebellum looks like this. There should be a picture, the very first picture if you see, you can see the entire cerebellum. It has two hemispheres, right and left hemispheres. You see the line that separates the two hemispheres, and in the middle you have another structure. We will come to that in a second. So depending on the location, they call medial or lateral, medial or lateral. So the lateral hemisphere of the cerebellum is all the way outside, right? The middle structure you see connecting the two hemispheres, they call it vermis, because if you look carefully, you see a bunch of tiny lines that represent the worm-like structures. So they call it vermis, V-E-R-M-I-S, vermis. Okay, so that's your vermis. But if you cut open and look in the sagittal view, this is what you see. In the brain, anywhere you see whitish or light colored area, that represents your white matter. Because of a lot of myelin, you have that color, whitish color or the light color. Compared to the surroundings, which are more dark, the darker color comes from absence of myelin. If there is no myelin, that's your gray matter, white matter and gray matter. So if you see in the middle of the cerebellum, you have this tree-like branching structure. They call it arbor vitae. Arbor, arboretum, trees. Arbor, vita means life. They call it tree of life, but we need to use the word arbor vitae. Okay. And that's good for the cerebellum.